is the casual fashion which is distinguished by bold brands and oversized garments and is seen in most urban areas, including London and New York. It first originated in the USA in the 90s, influenced by many different social cultures, including the hip-hop and skateboarding scenes. Streetwear is represented by youth culture, and children of the 21st century follow these fast-moving nostalgic trends, and they use it to represent their identity and for self-image. Society is highly influenced by the media and people in the public eye, and if they see their favourite celebrity promoting a certain clothing brand, it is going to make them want to shop there. This is a creative marketing technique that many of the popular streetwear brands use to grow and expand their brand. An example of this is one of the most iconic collaborations in the history of streetwear, the collaboration of Pharrell Williams and Bape. Bape is a Japanese streetwear brand that was founded by Nigo in 1993 and is known for its iconic camouflage pattern and its logo of a face of an ape, which is printed onto the clothing and was inspired by the movie The Planet of the Apes. In the early 2000s, Bape globalized and started to become popular in the US, and this is when the brand started to appeal to the hip-hop scene. Nigo then did a collaboration with American rapper, a member of hip-hop group Nerd, Pharrell Williams, who was a massive style icon in the 90s and even nowadays. This collaboration increased the popularity of Bape and made it mainstream in the streetwear fashion. In 2005, Pharrell and Nigo created Billionaire Boys Club and Ice Cream, which grew the brand even more with new and unique designs and graphics that appealed mostly to younger generations. Bape, Billionaire Boys Club and Ice Cream have continued to grow and have spread to the next generation of young people who spend hundreds of pounds to get the original versions of these specific pieces of clothing. The music video for Fronting by Pharrell Williams and Jay-Z was an iconic video that includes Bape garments and even shows scenes with Pharrell and Nigo himself. This music video promoted and marketed the brand as its popularity grew. I've managed to get in contact with Ben, who is a creative director, stylist and model in the streetwear industry. He has thousands of followers on social media and is an influencer to lots of young people who are inspired by his style.
So my name is Ben. I'm a creative director, stylist and model.
Why did you choose the streetwear industry and the job you're doing at the moment?
You know what's so funny? I didn't even choose it at first. I just ended up 2021 was when I entered the industry. You could say I was going to events and stuff, and they were like, "Oh, would you record some content for us?" And I was like, "Yeah, cool." And then from there, just started, and it just gradually built up. And then last year's when I had that's when I started gaining a lot of traction and shit. And then obviously we're here now. My biggest influence, I would say, is probably Pharrell Williams. I can't lie.
Yeah.
And Skepta, but heavy on Pharrell Williams. So. But in terms of the streetwear scene, most people just look up to most younger people, they look up to people that are just doing fashion right now. So people like 5 Foot and Ants, you could say. And most people look up to them. But if we're talking from older people, they look up to people actual fashion icons. So you got Pharrell, like I said, Nigo, and even in high-end fashion, you got Madonna was a big fashion icon for a lot of girls, and even some boys as well.
Do you think the media is the biggest influence on it?
I'll say definitely the media, because media is one of them things where you can see anything and everything at one place in time. You can see anything online, and obviously people can literally just go on their phone and just be "Oh, search this, search this." Yeah. They can search T-shirt or outfit, and stuff comes up.
How do you think the streetwear scene will develop and change in the future?
It goes through cycles. If you ask anyone in the industry, it goes through a lot of cycles. So there's things that will be trending for a certain period of time, and then obviously after a couple of years, it will come out of trend, and then the old stuff will go in trend again, and it just cycles and cycles and cycles again. Kind of how can I use, for example, a couple of years ago, everyone was on Y2K.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now, see, Y2K is not really as popular now, but it just goes through cycles, I guess.
Yeah. Talking about counterfeits and replicas, how do you think that affects the street?
It ruins the market, man. Especially for a reseller like myself, it ruins the market, because and it kind of ruins the person's creative, because imagine, let's say you created something, you create a product, or you created I don't know, a piece of art, and someone in the world made a replica and made it fake, and they were selling it to other people. Let's say you wanted it to be hella limited, but someone made hella fakes, kind of just washes out, and it gives the piece of item, it gives the item less meaning than it should. But in terms of like just in general, like counterfeit, it just see. I get it if you can't afford it. Buy counterfeits, but it kind of just ruins the market. And obviously, this makes it long because let's say you're on a reselling site, you can't tell what's real or what's fake now.
Brands may want to protect their image and reputation from counterfeit production to avoid the devaluation of their brand. Integrity is key to the brands. They don't want consumers to unknowingly buy fake versions of the product and be unsatisfied with the quality of the garment, which will give them a negative opinion on the brand. Traditionally, streetwear reps have different graphics, including spelling and are clearly of an inferior quality to the original, but in recent years, manufacturing capability has increasingly improved quality and design, creating pieces that look identical to the original product. This is illegal because it's an infringement of copyright. The Guardian states that the counterfeit business is worth around 600 billion globally per year. One of the largest numbers of monthly online searches, which are related to fake products worldwide, involves a streetwear brand, for example Supreme, with an average of 29,000 monthly searches. Ben previously stated that he sees Skepta the rapper as a great influence on his fashion, and even people like him are affected by counterfeits. Skepta and his brother, JME, who is also a rapper, created the label Boy Better Know. And when the label grew, Skepta and JME created t-shirts, which followers were able to buy. They promoted these t-shirts themselves, wearing them in freestyles rapping about their label, as well as making sure viewers had heard the name Boy Better Know. While the Boy Better Know top started to grow in popularity, counterfeits started to be made, and some of these replicas even changed the label's name. JME started rapping about it, saying how embarrassing it looks to be seen in a replica of their t-shirts, as you can see in this video.
Girl better blow and the other one, boy better know that's the label. Me, Frisco, Wiley, Sam, Max, and my brother run.
Make me laugh. If you want a t-shirt, bro, just ask. If I see any more boy better gums, I'll put on my V4 vendor to mask and come to your shop and start wrapping up.
I asked Ben about counterfeits as I would like to hear his opinion on the topic.
Do you think it's like, can you name any brands that it's like affected the most, like any like upcoming ones or any ones like, at the moment?
Upcoming ones definitely always.
Yeah.
There's so much fake always online now. There's mainly always Cortez, heavy on Cortez actually. There's a lot of fake Cortez everywhere.
Why do you think it affects those brands like the most?
Because like a person like Clint, like he's made the main ethos of Cortez was exclusivity, So like seeing like your thing just like having hella fakes, it must piss him off to a certain extent, and obviously he doesn't like resellers as well.
Yeah.
So like for people like that, like creatives and stuff, it might annoy them at some point, but it really depends on that.
Do you agree with counterfeiting?
Nah.
Yeah.
No. Obviously, don't get me wrong, if you ain't got like, for people who ain't got enough money to like afford like a certain piece of item, there's other items that they can buy. But obviously, they can buy the fake one if they want. But like, just in terms of like, just like the whole market, counterfeits kind of like ruins the thing. It's actually illegal technically, but people still do it. But
Your opinion on the app handler buying? Do you think people like buy things from there and then sell it on Vinted? And
I know a lot of people that do. A lot of my friends do that actually. They just buy a hella stuff from Panda Pan. They sell it on Depop and they list it as real. See, I can't lie. There's not much you can actually do. I was thinking about this the other day, because the fakes that actually look as good as the reals now. And obviously, like at the end of the day, it's literally like, let's say you want to get like a fake, like let's say there's fake always joggers. At the end of the day, it's literally just a piece of like joggers with just the always out on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like,
it's quite easy to replicate.
Yeah, it's quite easy to replicate, literally. I got showed some fake always joggers, they look so real. They looked real. They had the right tag as well. Because usually you can tell by the tag that it's a bit off, but they had the right tag on it.
What do you think brands can do to like stop the consumption of counterfeit?
There's nothing most brands can do. I can't lie. I was thinking about it. There's nothing most. I mean, they could do a thing where like they can only get in store. But that depends on that. That's gonna affect their sales. Obviously, they could do like certain tags, but at the end of the day, people will still try to replicate it.
Evidently, Ben does not support the counterfeits, which I expected as he works in the streetwear industry and can see how it affects business firsthand. I would like to hear another opinion from someone who works in the streetwear industry. So I travelled to Carhartt London shop and interviewed one of the managers, Grace.
Do you think Carhartt's an impactful brand, like, for the streetwear community?
I would say so. I think it's one of the brands that's a cornerstone of streetwear. I mean, it comes from humble beginnings, it comes from workwear, and then the Whip branch really embodies streetwear. It pushes limits while still also having like a respected past and silhouettes and stuff like that.
Do you think counterfeits affect Carhartt a lot or not? So,
I know that a lot of counterfeit Carhartt exists. I don't think it necessarily affects us. I think the reason people would buy counterfeit goods are, you know, it's a more accessible price point. And if that's your way, you know, you really want a piece of Carhartt and the only way to get it is to buy counterfeit, then I think that's fair enough. It doesn't really affect us. I think because the brand has got such a big reputation, I don't think a counterfeit market will ever, you know, surpass the original market. So personally, we don't feel affect in store. I don't know if on a greater level there's things that I don't see, but it doesn't really affect us from a market level on the shop floor.
do you think it's because Carhartt have like innovated themselves to be obviously a bigger brand and like explored with their designs?
There's likelihood to that, and I think as well the thing is with Carhartt, one of our biggest things is the quality. So people aren't just necessarily buying us for the logo, they're buying us because they know our jeans will last years, they know our t-shirts will wash well, and I think that's what sets us apart from the counterfeit stuff. With our stuff, it's, you know, it's made with integrity and it's made to last.
Do you think you'd then be able to tell if something was a fake Carhartt then?
I'd like to say yes, but honestly, I don't know. I mean, I have seen some, you know, our little side bags, I have seen some questionable counterfeits of them where the logo's all skew with, but some counterfeits are executed very well.
Do you think that counterfeits, obviously not for Carhartt, but for other brands and stuff like that, do you think it's ruining the culture of streetwear?
That's a good question. It's hard because I think the pressure that must be on, you know, not to deep it, but the pressure on young people to be dripping in these brands. I mean, our jeans cost £100 to £150. When I was a teenager, there's no way I'd have had that money or my parents would have been able to afford it. So although it does loosen the integrity of the brands because there's more fake items out there, if it means that young people can feel more included, then you can't blame them for buying them. Because I just know from my upbringing, there's not a chance I would have been able to afford Palace, Carhartt, Stussy.
It was very interesting speaking to Grace because she can sympathise with the younger audiences on why they would want to buy counterfeits, as they feel obliged to fit in, and she understands the pressures they must feel to be wearing all the cool streetwear brands and how expensive the clothing is. There is a high proportion of the younger generation, which includes 12 to 18-year-olds, which are one of the main target markets for the streetwear brands, and do not have a high enough income to buy the genuine garments from their favourite brands, but they want to be seen as part of that community. Lil Kana is a rapper who is very influential in the streetwear scene, especially to young people, and he is always wearing different streetwear brands while in the public eye. In 2022, he first collaborated with the up-and-coming brand Always Do What You Should Do. This drop helped him to promote his newly released album Hugo, which is the graphic on the front of the hoodie. The collaboration was so popular that again in 2023, Always Do What You Should Do dropped another collaboration with Lil Kana, but this time a different colourway. Ben previously mentioned the brand Always Do What You Should Do, and it has now been heavily replicated on Panda Buy, and it appears to have become a victim of its own success. A young consumer, Ethan, who's aged 14, owns a counterfeit version of one of the hoodies by Always Do What You Should Do, and I'm keen to understand more about his decision to buy the version of this product.
Well, I bought it because I love Lil Kana, he's my favourite rapper, and also Always one of my favourite brands. I thought it was such a cool collab. And I actually got it from Panda Buy. It's basically an app where you can get clothes all in a replica, but they're really cheap. So this was like maybe 50 quid cheaper than real. So yeah. Well, the quality feels pretty much the same of what the other drops. So I got the joggers in the new drop, and they literally feel the same, and even the label is the same. Look. See, it's all the same. Oh, to be honest, there's not no one from like a distance. No one will be able to tell, or even close up. But if I tell my friends, then it might be a little bit embarrassing. But I'm sure they'll be fine with it.
I spoke to 2 employees from Trading Desk and Billionaire Boys Club who wish to stay anonymous, but they stated that they think counterfeits can be seen as a good thing because after watching the Virgil Abloh documentary, he stated that he likes counterfeits because it gives his brand more exposure, like we have seen with the collaboration of Always Do What You Should Do and famous rapper Lil Kana, which was very successful, but it inevitably means that counterfeits are produced. So a replica is only positive when a brand is established. Like mentioned previously by Grace, counterfeits do not affect Carhartt because they are very respected, recognised and have a high reputation. But this means counterfeiting will be affecting exclusive smaller brands like Cortez and Always Do What You Should Do mentioned by Ben. These brands will need to innovate in order to survive, and they will need to be prepared for counterfeiting and find solutions in order to pursue and be a successful company. These brands will make their own future, but will you still buy counterfeits?
Cause we've been living like a trap, put the numbers on the wall, hoping people will react. But it's a fact, we've been living in a trap, we're trapped. Yo, they said that it was all that you could be if you were black, playing ball or maybe rap. And they would say it like...
What?
I hate what actually no, that's not even funny.
What?
I forgot to press record.
Oh, you actually...
Thank you.
How do I stop this thing recording?
Sorry, I was kind of like... Oh wait, question.
Stop pointing. When you started stuttering, I was going to sit behind the camera.